Hey guys, it's Phil Morrison. I'm a confidence coach for men and women with social anxiety. So for a job, I take guys and girls out into social situations and I mentor them live on developing their confidence and improving their conversation skills. In today's video, I'm going to talk about practicing compassion and taking responsibility to overcome anger towards other people and situations that have happened to you in the past. So we all know that holding on to anger, resentment and bitterness doesn't help you out in life. So in a personal level, it drags you down. And it also acts as a repellent in social situations. If you're speaking to somebody who's really angry and really bitter, it makes you want to run away. It really pushes you away. But if on the other hand, you're speaking to somebody who is happy, in a state of peace and relaxation, it's attractive and it makes you want to be around that person. I was just noticing some wildlife then. Okay, so firstly, it's important to recognize that if a particular person, a behavior of a particular person makes you angry, then actually you have responsibility in that. So it's impossible to be offended, hurt, made to feel angry without your own consent. So there's an external event, such as someone being rude, that's a stimulus. Then there's a response. There's a gap between the stimulus and response, and that's where your consciousness is. That's where you are. You have the ability to choose how you want to respond to any situation. And if a situation makes you feel angry, makes you feel hurt, it's actually revealing something about you. It's acting like a mirror, and it's letting you know that there's unresolved issues in your psyche that you need to work on. Even if it's a behavior from someone else that you don't condone, something that you don't agree with or support, it's still your responsibility to not be offended by that. So whenever somebody behaves in such a way that triggers me personally, I get excited because it's an opportunity for me to grow. And I ask myself the question, how can I transform so that in future I'm not offended, I don't feel angry in this situation? Because ultimately, if a particular situation triggers you, until you resolve this issue, the situation is going to repeat on loop for the rest of your life and repeatedly trigger you. So it makes sense to handle it now. And since you've been triggered, you might as well practice acceptance and practice compassion and take responsibility now to be kind to your future self. So compassion is the best way that I know to release anger. So if any particular person, a subsection of society or a situation makes you feel angry, really try your best to practice compassion and understanding to the highest possible level that you can. Even if you don't support the behavior of that person, recognize that everyone's only human. We all make mistakes. I'm sure that you've made many mistakes before, as I have as well. So no one's perfect. Everybody makes mistakes. And most people are genuinely doing the best they can based on what they know. And if someone's behaving in a hurtful way towards you, it's probably because they're hurt themselves. There's a saying that hurt people hurt people. If that person was in a state of peace and their life was going amazingly well, it would be very, very unlikely for them to behave in a rude and hurtful way towards you. So it may be a reflection, a projection of their own issues. And the practice is to observe the behaviors of others, but not engage with them. And certainly not let them bring you down and affect you. And the beautiful thing with this process of practicing compassion is that you can release your own anger, your own bitterness and your own hurt towards different people and situations, and become stronger and stronger and stronger, so you're less triggerable in future. It's harder for you to be offended in the future because you take complete responsibility. So it's up to you to not be offended. And a situation which comes to mind, something that I often coach clients on, very, very, very challenging area to coach, is improving relationships with your parents. So it's common for people to spend time with their parents and come away feeling triggered, feeling angry, not be in the best mood afterwards. And if that happens, you have to ask yourself the question, what can I do how can I transform so that I'm not affected in this way in future? And a lot of it comes down to recognizing what you can control and what you can't control. So you can't change certain people in your life. They are who they are. And you can't change any person who doesn't want to be changed. So they're going to be themselves come what may. What you can do is you can focus on controlling the controllables. You can be more compassionate and more understanding towards your parents. And you can work on transforming yourself so that you're not affected by their projections. You don't take it on. So that's where you can really practice observing but not engaging. It's almost like a meditation where you recognize the behaviors of others, but if it comes from a low place, an angry place, for example, you don't take it on. It's up to you to break the chain. Otherwise, the other outcome would be you take on someone else's anger, then you feel bad, and then other people that you speak to feel worse, and it's just this domino effect of passing anger from one person to another. And it takes a strong person to break the chain. And if you're serious and committed about getting yourself into the best place possible in your life, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, then you have to be able to master the process of not taking on other people's projections, other people's hurt, other people's anger, and instead focus on being compassionate towards this person, helping this person, but not feeling burdened by their issues, and making it your responsibility to transform so that you don't carry around bitterness towards anyone or any subsection of society. I'm not saying this is an easy process. Forgiveness, acceptance, compassion requires a lot of strength, and it may take some time. But what I would recommend, something which I've done personally and which I teach to other people, is to make a note of different situations that cause you to react in anger and hurt, and really try and get to a stage where you practice compassion and understanding so much that you can talk about any topic, any person, any situation without anger coming to the surface. When you can do this, you know that you've truly practiced compassion, you've truly moved past this particular source of anger. And as I alluded to earlier, it's much more attractive to be around somebody who's in a state of peace and compassion than someone who's angry. So this can be a transformative practice depending on the levels of anger that you have in your life. And of course, we're only human, so still be kind to yourself and recognize that every person gets angry sometimes. But it requires a strong person to get angry rarely. To be someone who, as my mentor says, is slow to anger. Someone who's really, really hard to piss off. That's a strong person. Someone with thick skin. And even if you're naturally on the sensitive side, it's still possible to develop thick skin through this same process. So this same process of compassion, understanding, observing, not engaging, and taking responsibility, asking yourself the question, how can I transform? This is how you develop thick skin. So it's such a potentially transformative process for many different kinds of people. So I hope that you found this video helpful. If so, I would appreciate you hitting like and subscribing to the channel. Have a great rest of your day.